Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And today we have a very special guest. Maureen is here with us, and many of you are already familiar with her because you've heard Tessa and I talk about her. Maureen, thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Maureen, you recently moved, right?
Yes, I moved back to Miami 2 months ago, like 3 months ago. Yeah, 3 months ago now. Well, I gotta be tired of New York. I love New York. I really, really, truly love New York City. But after the lockdown and pandemic, like I know we all went through the same thing. I was like, you
Yes.
know what? Let me go back to Miami just for a few months. Let's see what's going to happen. Because at first I wanted to go back to LA
Yes.
to be with
Yeah.
you, actually, like
Yes. You did.
Harvey.
Yeah, I know you
But
remembered you mentioned
you
it.
know,
Yes.
but LA is also in a difficult place, like right
Yes.
now, let's stay polite. So, yes, right now I'm in Miami and enjoying, of course, like the beautiful weather
Yeah. Oh,
of
it's so
Miami. Yeah.
beautiful there. And obviously we didn't get an opportunity to connect, but we were in, Tori and I were in Miami in January.
No, in
And
Sahara.
yes, and it's just so gore. I mean, I wish I could just do that, make that transition, but that's
Join
another
us.
topic for another time. You're
Join
like, come
us.
join us. So for those of you, you may have already heard the intro, but Maureen is incredibly gifted at so many things. She's got such an incredible background, and the most noteworthy thing for me was my experience doing my family constellation with her because there's just certain things. Well, I guess, do you want to just tell everybody what family constellation is before I just go and start talking about myself?
Sure. Sure. So, family constellations is discovery of your family story and how, on a subconscious level, it has been influencing, impacting your life, like your current life, your current relationships with your parents, your children, your employees, your employer, like your partner, like anyone, like anybody being part of your life, like your family story has, fortunately or unfortunately, like an influence on everything, and you cannot run away from it. So if you don't take care of it, if you don't acknowledge, like the story, also, of course, like your childhood, your relationship with your parents, you might struggle more as an adult. Let's put it that
Yes.
way.
I
So
mean,
yeah.
so true. And so part of this process really allows you to uncover what those um what those deep seated, I don't want to say issues, but the things that you're basically holding on to that keep you from
Exactly.
moving forward, that keep you from progressing, that keep you from thriving. And some of the things that, I've been going to therapy the majority of my life pretty much since I was 15 years old. Like I it, it- after we had our session, I remember telling Tori, I in the hour and a half that we spent together, I had more revelations than I have my entire life of going to therapy because there's just certain things that are so, I don't know. I mean, the stuff that we went through was so in my face. Like it was so not basic, but it was like, oh, I didn't think about things like that, or I didn't think that
Yeah.
this specific memory was actually blocking me from moving forward, or I didn't know it was weighing so heavy on me. So I guess just to give people a little bit of background, like what got you into doing this in the first place?
My family.
Okay.
You know what? I
That's
just
true.
wanted I just wanted to understand my father, actually. I wanted to understand why my father just a few years ago, like before, of course, like studying family constellations, did the same thing than his own father, meaning abandoning his son. And my father, at some point in my life, decided also like to abandon my brother and I. And I was like, why is that? Like, what's going on? Like, and My father was always very like a secret person in my life, not knowing a lot about his past, his story, his childhood. And I was always curious about it. So I guess this is how, like slowly but surely, I finally got introduced to family constellations. And at that time, I was 25. I was actually in Miami for again, like I hit rock bottom. I was depressed. I was not unhappy, but I was not happy either. I was just like looking for myself, like finding answers. And I could not understand why I couldn't be happy with my boyfriend. And family constellations, like just show me, like you said, like it was so simple. It was nothing complicated. Like everything was just in front of me. But by just shifting my perception, just stopping over complicating things, like, and just seeing the reality, the truth of my life, I was like, that's it. It's even like, really? Like, that's it. Like, it is just a story, that I have been repeating over and over again. And that's why I'm stuck. And it's like, yes, Maureen, that's it. But now you are responsible. So it's your turn to do something with it or not. And that's what I like about family constellations. Like, yes, it is actually pretty much simple, very simple. But at the end, you are in charge of what you want to do. You still want to hold on to it or you want to move on? That's
Yeah.
the question.
Ugh. And I think that it's that the intensity of that question is we don't oftentimes I feel like we think we want to move forward from something or we think we've moved forward from something, but in actuality, we might realize that we haven't or that we feel guilt or that we have shame around something that we think, oh, I already forgave myself or I've already moved on. And we don't think about the impact that that's had, or even something as simple as saying, even to your parents, like, oh, I forgive you. You did your best, like that can be really transformational. I know it was for me when we're talking about my parents and I love both my parents and I've got a great relationship with my parents. With my mom, it was a little bit strained growing up, but we have a great relationship now. But I never actually stopped and said, wow, I forgive you. Like I forgive. Oh, even saying that now, it's such an intense thing to reconcile. And I think for many of us, if we look at our life and we see where we are and how far we've come, and we look back at the people who held us up and the people who supported us during it, or the people that actually propelled us to change, or that created that trauma, or that created that upheaval, as something to acknowledge and then move on from, as opposed to, oh, this is just a memory. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just a
Exactly.
memory is different than acknowledging this happened, this was the result, right? So can you talk about the efficacy or the impact that that acknowledgement takes on our energy?
So there is your story, okay? How you perceived, like a situation, your relationship with your parents, like anything, that you went through, like since you were born. But then your pain, your suffering, like right now, how you are feeling heavy, like it's a heavy burden. It's not actually the story in itself, it's how you have been holding on to it and hoping, expecting that your parents they're going to change, expecting, like your teenager self is going to change. It's not going to happen. Let's be honest right now, it's not going to happen. You are the only one who can change your perception towards your past, towards your parents, and how at that moment you want to live your life. Family constellations is all about reconciliation. It's all about bringing back together what was once separated. That's it. It's pure love. I would also add, it's more like a philosophy of life. It's actually seeing differently. Like you were saying, your parents, they did the best they could. I also did the best I could. And you cannot hope, like for a different type of love coming from your parents, because at that time, they could not have done better. And this is how we heal. We just accept, we just acknowledge, we just consent to what happened. Because actually, in family constellation, we do not practice forgiveness. I know it's always a surprise, like we consent to what happened, because long story short, of course you can practice, forgiveness, with your parents.
Yeah.
If you feel it resonates with you, please do it. But the only thing is, do not feel bigger than your parents, because whoever forgives is in a way the bigger one, like the wiser one, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't want, again, that imbalance between you and your parents. Okay, that's very important in family constellations, to keep the order, like your
Yeah.
parents, you, your children, and so on. Okay, so by acknowledging, by recognizing, we stop waiting, we stop expecting for a change in scenery, a change in the narrative, because you know what? We cannot change it. The only thing that we can do is being like, you know what? I see it now. And I understand where I came from. And I understand why I had the tendency to repeat the same thing over and over again, because guess what? You want to belong. Any burdens, any issues right now that you're dealing with, it's actually a lack of belonging. I don't belong. I'm not seen. I'm not heard. I'm not recognized. So let me do something that will make my parents, my partner, my children, like my coworkers to see me now. And if my father was an addict, I might become an addict. If my mother had 3 miscarriages, I might subconsciously, of course, have 3 miscarriages as well, because we want to belong, all
Oh,
of us.
yeah.
So that's what we do in family constellations.
Even if it's a destructive, I mean, of course, if it's destructive, habits are the ones that are most apparent, right? Because God, that makes so much sense. Our The way that we design our life sometimes to repeat those patterns. So, have you ever encountered people that are shocked by that? Like they come to you and they're wanting to change their pattern, they're wanting to understand something, and then they still might not see it.
Of course. Of course, all the time. It's been almost 10 years now already. So, of course, like, because the thing is, when for the past 30 years of your life, you have been witnessing abuse between your mother and father, you think it's pretty normal to be abused by your husband. Like, there is no, like, surprise here, like, no, this is what I've been knowing for my entire life. So, why do you want me to change? It takes courage to ask for more, to change, the dynamic that is part of your family, because you are going to be the first one being like, you know what? No, I want more. I don't want to belong with abuse. I don't want to belong with violence. I don't want to belong with addiction. I want to belong with peace, with love. And it takes a lot of courage, because guess what? Sometimes your family is going to reject you, to estrange you, to abandon you, like, oh, you think you are better than us? Okay, deal with it on your own. So of course, like when I'm like, okay, so your father, your grandfather, your uncle, they're all addict. Are you ready now, like to break free from that? It's like, okay, Marine, but who am I when I'm not an addict? Who am I when I'm not in an abusive relationship? Who am I if I'm happy with my partner? Who am I if I'm making more money than my parents? That's also the question here. And that's always a phase in any healing journey, like the resistance part. So you are telling me that right now I'm ready to fly on my own, to be happy. So what's going to happen? Am I still going to belong or not? So of
Oh,
course, yeah.
yes. Oh, so good. It's so confronting. I feel like this is like a full on therapy session right now. Everybody listening is like, I'm ready to do my family constellation. It really is. So I want to do it again, even though we've done it. We can do it again, right?
Yes,
We
of
can
course,
do,
we can do
yeah,
it
we can
again.
do
Yes,
like a follow up. Okay, good. Because I think I want to do that.
yes.
Anyway, so you're writing a book or you've written a book. Are you done? Where are
No,
you?
I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
But so Connected Fates, Separate Destinies. It's for September 2021, actually. It was, yeah, it was supposed to be for spring 2022, But my publisher, Hey House, was like, no, Marine, right now on Amazon, it's September 14. And I'm like, what? So it has been overwhelming, but also very exciting because I'm so happy, like to share my book and Family Constellations, of course, because it has deeply changed my life in a beautiful way. So yes, it's happening. I'm actually finishing the last chapter, like this week.
Oh, wow.
And then I will be working with my editor, like
Yes.
editing a few more things. But yeah, but you know about it. You're
Yes,
also
yes.
working on
Well,
your
yeah, I'm
book.
in the
So
process
yeah,
still, but I still have another
yeah.
year before mine comes out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like Harris was like, Marine, let's do it,
Let's get it
like
done. Get it
it
in.
has
Oh,
been, yeah, exactly. It has been a traumatizing year for all of us in 2020. So let's put your
we
book.
need
I'm
it.
like, okay, let's do it.
Oh, that's so great. Great news for everybody listening to this. Wow, is there? Yes, that's so great. Oh, how exciting. So for people that are listening to this right now, that even in just the last few minutes is so much information, so much to process. What is there anything that is recommended? For me, I think doing what we did was I'm not saying it was easy, but it was very accessible because I've done work like this before. I mean, is there a way for people that have never done something like this before to benefit from doing a family constellation?
Of course, of course. I think as long as you are open, like to experience a new type of healing, and when you are willing to do the work, like to understand yourself, of course you can do a family constellations. I would say maybe for the first time more in one-on-one, like private sessions and actually a group session, because sometimes the group session can be overwhelming to hear a lot of different stories, and it's very emotional, it's very intense. But of course, you can do it, like you just need to come with whatever you want to work on, and we can work on anything, because again, your family system follows you everywhere, so don't worry about that. And then I will just ask you questions about your family dynamics, stories, your childhood, your love life, your career, like what's going on right now. And then together, I think I'm very gentle, like,
You are very
uh, you know,
gentle. Oh, you're so
like
loving. It's so
I will
gentle.
be guiding
Yes.
you in order to heal and understand. I love giving my clients insight, information, so then you can also do the work on your own. Because at the end of the day, it's not my story, it's not my life. So I really want you to get everything, like to get every tool in your hand. So then it's up to you also if you would like to dive deeper and keep doing the work.
Yes, and it's such a great well, the whole work that you're doing, the method I believe it was Bert Hellinger.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I saying it right? Hellinger?
Hellinger, it's
Hellinger,
German, but
Hellinger, yeah. In the
Hellinger,
50s, this was designed to detect the blocks of our subconscious, right? So
exactly.
that to me is where I found it fascinating because as you're talking to you're obviously guiding the experience. You're using my words, so the whatever I'm describing or whenever you're asking me questions, it's so wild how our subconscious mind is giving answers and all Marine is doing is reflecting back what you've said and how you've explained things, which is wild because you're not really thinking about it, you're just answering questions, right? So I find that this is the part of the subconscious and this approach where I find it just so fascinating and why I love self-inquiry so much because there's so much incredible knowledge that is underneath that space in our subconscious, how we react, how we behave, how we
Yes,
decide to create a life, the things that we're discerning between how we create something that we really want, or we're just living up to the expectations of our parents or our loved ones. Like to really get underneath all of that, I think is a true test to getting to know who you are,
yes,
right?
exactly, exactly. Like it's it's part of you. It's your story, and you have the right to know your story, and you also have the right to heal from your story. And I think this is very important, especially right now. Especially right now, like feeling more grounded, This is my place, this is my foundation, and I can move on, and I can honor my life, and I can receive from life, and I can create the life that I want. Because everything, again, starts from your family. When you embrace your mother, when you embrace your father, when you receive the gift of life from your parents, it will be so much easier for you to receive from life now at that moment, like again, from your partner, from your children, from your career, from your friends. This is where it all starts. So just do the work, like be at ease, be at peace, and then just enjoy your life. Enjoy it. Have
Yeah.
fun with it.
Yeah, so many of those things are blocking us from getting to that space. And for me, I found that it was things that I was holding on to that I had no idea I was even holding on to, that I'd never thought about, that were weighing heavy on me. And I find it to be such an important thing for me when we did this, because I was in the midst of still writing my book, and it just really helped me be at peace with the things that I was writing, because it made me feel more empowered. It didn't make me feel like, oh, I'm holding on to this thing and I'm now I'm going to put it out into the world. It just felt more grounded in what I was saying and the direction that I was going. So,
And
yeah,
that's
I love that.
beautiful.
Oh, so in saying that, for you, I mean, w- doing this work, like, it must be really exhausting to do. How do you do it energetically? I mean, I did life coaching for many years, and I still work as a life coach with a handful of people that I've been working with for years, but I'm not doing any new clients or anything. But it's even the people that I have, like, it's very energetically taxing. So how do you do this? Because this is heavy content.
It's heavy content, but actually, it's an extension of who I am. My career, family constellations, like, I'm very lucky, honestly, because it's not even work for me, it's just my passion. And it actually nourishes my soul on a deep level, that after a session workshop, I feel so high. An hour after, I'm just gonna crash. Okay, I'm just going to go to my bed and sleep. Like, but for the next hour, I'm very high in energy. Then in the meantime, don't get me wrong, I take care of myself. I take care of myself, like I work out, I eat healthy, I sleep, like I have also my own village of amazing healers that take care of me as well, like my acupuncturist, my therapist when I need, to talk to her, my friends, my mother, I think, is my best therapist ever. Thank you so much, mom. But
Ah,
I have people also, like it takes a village. I won't be able to function and be, I think, as good as I am with my clients if at first I wouldn't take care of me. That's for
yeah.
sure. You cannot do it. You cannot. And I structure my session. I'm going to listen to your story. I'm going to work with you. But then after the 2 hours or the 1 hour together, it's like, okay, it's done. It's structured,
Yes.
like next step.
Yes. What was your favorite part in your book to write about?
Love, love, relationship.
Tell
Because
us
it's still a
everything.
mystery. I don't know about yours, but it's still a mystery, like why some of us are still single, why some of us are never single, like why it looks so much easier, like for your friend than for you. And I love love. I love being in a relationship. I love that partnership, like together, growing,
Yes.
healing together. And, like just writing, like, what, if you want to be in love with your partner, in love with your relationship, this is what you have to do. You need to heal a relationship with your parents. Because whatever you did not understand with them, you are going to ask your partner to take care of it, subconsciously speaking. And when I talk about that, like in my training with my clients, I see in their eyes, I was like, what? That's it, Marine? That's a secret? Like, well, it's one of the secrets, like it's one of the secrets. Then, of course, like you will have to take care of your relationship, like every day. But if at first you do this, believe me, your love life is drastically going to change and for the best. So I want people to fall in love. I want people to be in love. I want people to be in a beautiful relationship because you deserve the best. So yeah, that's my favorite part. And then I like also working on there is a chapter about healing, like giving examples, stories. Like I think also it gives just hope. Like, oh, okay, it resonates with me. So it can also happen, like to me,
Yes.
like I can do the work as well, like so
Hmm.
I like also sharing my story, of course, and my client stories as well.
Yeah, I love that. Is there a way, or is there a certain kind of process? I want to go back to what you said about the parents. If, for example, somebody's parent isn't no longer with us, if they're wanting to heal that relationship, is there a way to do that?
Of course, because your parents are within yourself, like they're not going anywhere. It's not because, your parents passed away or they're not even not part of your life anymore, like you have no more, like communication. It's for you. The answers, they are within yourself. So do not worry about that. Also, do not worry if you are adopted. If you're adopted, like that's also a question that I got, Marine. I don't know my biological, parents. That's okay. Your body knows. You will feel, emotionally speaking, like you are going to experience maybe a sensation, a tension, um, feeling tight, maybe, I don't know, your throat on your chest, like, so do not worry about that. You have all of the answers. Please, please, please do not worry about that. We can
Oh,
still do the work.
that's so great. Yeah, I mean, even as you're saying that, I'm like, wow, because I have a couple of friends, two friends that are adopted, and then one friend who one of her parents is no longer with us, and she's actually somebody that I talked to about doing this work. So thank you for saying that. Um, I am ready for our next session. So I'm excited. So those of you listening, Maureen is available. Maureen, are you working with people? What if
Yes.
people want to, so
Yes.
they can just go to your
Yeah.
website?
Yes, exactly. You can go to my website. You can book your session online. You can also just send me an email at marine@marineselenee.com. I've been working remotely, of course, like all of us for the past year. But if you are in Miami, I now do offer workshops outside, like with safety distance, like really also being mindful of what's going on right now,
Yes.
But if you also want to experience a workshop in Miami or in Tulum outside, I'm here as well.
That's incredible. I definitely am gonna do that personally. As you can see, I'm a Marine convert. So yes, we will put the info in the info button or info in the info button. If you hit the info button on this particular podcast when you're listening, you can find all of the links to reach Marine there. Hopefully, if we have a link to your book too, or we can pre-order the
Yes.
book, we'll put that in there as well. And so I want to continue this conversation and just in my own experience, and I know Tessa can totally agree, and Sahara, our friend who connected us, her family, like we have so many people that we know that have gone through this process. And I'm telling you, I really, truly feel completely um, radicalized from the person that I was in that one experience. It really shed a light on a lot of things in my life that I was totally asleep to. So I can't wait for your book to come out. I can't wait to
Thank you.
continue to learn more. And I want to ask you the final question, but is there anything else you want to share with our audience before we go?
No, no, I think we're good. Let's go with the final question.
Oh, the final
I'm ready
question.
for the final question.
Yes. Okay. So I ask all of my guests this. They know this. Radical love was, or radically loved was created as a way for us to all basically come together to have these conversations, to grow, to learn together, to support each other. And the idea is that the universe works for us and not against us. We are radically loved. And so for you, the final question is, how do you feel radically loved?
But I'm taking care of myself.
Wow. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so good. Self-care. I love that.
self-care. Yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
it starts with you. It only starts with you.
I love that. Maureen, you are incredible. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for being here.
You.
Thank you for being a part of our community. And thank you for being so amazing and for learning all of these techniques so that you can help us on our journeys. Thank you so much. And for all of you listening to this podcast, be sure to check out those links, share this with a friend, and we appreciate you. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you so much.